clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. This brand new 2025 Benamar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Nana Acquare. Tonight.
I want England to believe that again, because you guys brought Christianity to so much of the world. I want the Church of England to get its mojo back.
Charlie Kirk dies in a fatal shooting in Utah. A manhunt is ongoing and a weapon has been found.
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
President Donald Trump has paid tribute to Charlie Kirk and will award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Also,
Starmer needs to shed a few pounds, and that would be an improvement.
US Ambassador Peter Mandelson is sacked by Starmer over emails to Epstein, and
I demand from world leaders, including the British government, to stand firm together and say to Hamas, we won't talk to any Palestinian, any one of you, until you release the hostages. They'll see that it may work better.
The Israeli president spoke to GB News earlier today, calling for world leaders to stand together against Hamas. Also,
well, TfL have made clear, that they can't afford their workers working few hours for more pay, but they are willing to talk to.
Tube drivers are striking this week, but now they've said £73,000 a year is not enough to buy a house. And
what's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. And what do you do for a living?
Nothing. I'm lazy at the moment.
Reports that civil servants are bored whilst the HMRC tax evasion team doubles in size. Also,
A wider group of people is going to mean a new deputy leader. Would Dame Emily Thornberry fancy that as a job?
Go, Emily, go.
Well, no, look, Michael will run your campaign. I think that was an offer there. That would go very well with the Labour Party membership.
I'm thinking about it.
Labour remain in chaos. Emily Thornberry drops out of the Labour deputy leadership race as Labour MP's constituency office is set on fire. And illegal Channel migrants now exceed the entire British Armed Forces as Lord Hermer is ready to change law to stop ECHR blocking deportations. On my panel tonight, former Conservative MP Anna Firth, Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and Labour councillor Sebastian Salek. And Gary Lineker had fun last night.
Oi, oi, Gary Lineker!
Thursday night starts here. The latest on Charlie Kirk's devastating assassination. Next.
Nana, thank you very much. The top stories. The FBI has released images of a person of interest in the killing of Charlie Kirk and offers a $100,000 reward for any information. The killer is at large and officials say the suspect appears to be of college age. 30-year-old conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot while giving a talk at Utah Valley University. Eyewitnesses say a figure on a rooftop fired a single round, hitting him in the neck. Kirk was rushed to hospital by his security team, but 2 hours later, the US president announced that he died of his injuries. Donald Trump says he will award Charlie Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Lord Mandelson has been sacked as Britain's ambassador to the United States after emails revealed the true depth of his relationship with paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson admitted further embarrassing emails were likely to emerge, including one in which he called Epstein his best pal. Sir Keir Starmer told MPs yesterday he still had confidence in Mandelson, but today in the Commons, his withdrawal was confirmed. Israel's president met the Prime Minister in Downing Street yesterday, a day after the deadly strike on Qatar's capital, Doha, which has drawn up much criticism. There have been rumours of tensions between Sir Keir Starmer and the Israeli president during their meeting. Isaac Herzog sat down with GBNews' Martin Daubney.
We reject the idea of a unilateral declaration of recognizing a Palestinian state because it's dangerous, it will flare up emotions, it won't bring out any hostage, and we won't help any Palestinian. On the contrary, I demand from world leaders, including the British government, to stand firm together and say to Hamas, we won't talk to any Palestinian, any one of you, until you release the hostages. They'll see that it may work better.
Breaking news this hour, the former president of Brazil, Bolsonaro, has been found guilty of plotting a military coup. Brazil's Supreme Court reached the majority of 3 votes needed to find him guilty. One judge voted to acquit him and another is yet to vote. The 70-year-old has been convicted of leading a conspiracy aimed at keeping him in power after he lost the 2022 election to his rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. While the plot failed to enlist enough support from the military to go ahead, it did culminate in the storming of government buildings by Bolsonaro supporters on the 8th of January 2023, the justices found. Now, those charges carry heavy sentences and could add up to a prison term of more than 40 years. Sentencing is scheduled for tomorrow. And today marks the anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks that shocked the world. Vigils have been held across the globe to remember the victims and heroes from that fatal day. US President Donald Trump gave an address this afternoon.
And together we will go forward as one people with one heart, one faith, one flag, and one glorious destiny under Almighty God. May God bless the memories of those who died and the heroes who fought and the soldiers who still stand watch. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Those are the latest headlines. For now, more from me in an hour.
You can now watch GB News live across the United States of America and the world on Truth Plus. Scan the QR code to find out more, or visit gbnews.com/truth.
Good evening, this is Patrick Christys. Tonight, I'm Nana Acquia. Who would want to be a free speech champion? Being prepared to stand up and be counted, putting yourself in the firing line, literally trying to initiate positive change. Whether you agree with him or not, you have to respect his bravery. Charlie Kirk was killed in a fatal shooting while speaking as part of his America Comeback tour at Utah Valley University. He was shot fatally at 12:20 local time, with the crowd, which was seen fleeing. Witnesses explained what they saw.
And were you in the crowd when everything happened?
I was 15 feet away, and it was really hard to witness. He had just finished talking about his first subject, and as the guy said shooting or shooters or something like that, you just hear the gunshot, and I'm sorry, it was horrible, and all I felt was like everybody bringing me down to the ground, and I was sorry.
Take your time, okay.
All I hear is screaming, and I see people running, and I'm like, it's not safe to run, it's not safe to get up, it's not.
Charlie Kirk was a conservative activist and close ally to Donald Trump. He founded Turning Point at the age of 18 with the aim of spreading conservative ideals at liberal-leaning colleagues. Now, he also was an evangelical Christian, and he leaves behind his wife, Erica, and 2 children. Charlie hosted The Charlie Kirk Show, which was a popular podcast and radio program.
Said, wives, submit to your husbands, as it says repeatedly. But the second part is also really important. We as husbands must be willing to sacrifice ourselves for our wives as Christ died for the church. That means we must be willing to die for our wives.
And now a major manhunt is underway with the gunman still at large. The killer is believed to have fired the shot from the roof of a building near the courtyard, approximately 130 metres away from where Charlie Kirk was speaking. CCTV footage shows a suspect dressed in dark clothing, and social media clips also show a man lying on the building and then running after the shot. The FBI have released 2 pictures of a person of interest and confirmed a weapon has been found, with ammunition inscribed with trans and anti-fascist messages. The FBI is now offering a £100,000 reward in the search for the killer. Donald Trump has condemned what he called a heinous assassination.
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace.
And he has confirmed that he will award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said last night, "My thoughts this evening are with the loved ones of Charlie Kirk. It is heartbreaking that a young family man has been robbed of a father and a husband. We must all be free to debate openly and freely without fear. There can be no justification for political violence." He emphasised there is no place for political violence, one thing that we can both agree on. But the reaction online has been shocking from the so-called #BeKind liberals. The Sun reported 6 celebrations twisted liberals celebrate Charlie Kirk's killing. Social media sites like TikTok, Insta and X were awash with disgusting clips of people revelling in murder. What is wrong with people? And in the New York Post, it reported Blue Sky warns users not to celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination after dozens of horrific messages posted. Some on the left are openly rejoicing in his death. But I want to reiterate, Charlie Kirk was not a politician. He was a political commentator, somebody who used his platform to express and share his view whilst encouraging debate.
I'll give you £1,000 right now if you could tell me the U.S. citizen that was deported under Donald Trump. You said that twice.
Yeah, the U.S. citizen that was deported under Donald Trump. Can anyone tell me? £1,000. I'll give it to you right now. Yeah, name? Wrong, not a U.S. citizen. Citizen El Salvador. Anyone else? U.S. citizen, deported under Trump. Nope, that was a lie. You should know better than that. You go to Oxford. So that is a correction. Number 2.
That's Charlie speaking at Oxford University. This was the reason he was at Utah Valley University, to debate and to exercise everyone's right to free speech. No one should be killed for expressing an opinion. He loved his country, his family and his faith, and he will be greatly missed. Charlie just wanted people to talk. Let's hope his death marks a real turning point in political discourse, because we cannot continue down this path. Rest in peace, Charlie. Well, I'm joined now by GB News presenter Ben Leo. Yeah, Ben, it's good to talk to you. I saw that interview that you had with Charlie not so long ago. Talk to us about what the mood has been like in the US, where you are.
Yeah, good evening, Nana. Good evening, viewers back home. Hope you're doing OK. It's easy to forget that today is actually 9/11, of course, here in America. The tragedy that happened in 2001 has been slightly overshadowed by another major tragedy here in the US, with the political assassination, the slaying of Charlie Kirk, simply for his thoughts. And you were mentioning there, Nana, about the reaction by some very, very twisted individuals indeed, including, may I say, the incoming president of reportedly of the Oxford Union, who was leaked in a WhatsApp group celebrating the fact that Charlie Kirk had been shot. And doing the rounds today on social media, which made me smile, because it's quite poignant looking back, was a post from Charlie way back in 2016, and that proves the insight he had even as a young guy, that you can tell a lot about a person by the way they react when somebody dies, and that rings true today. Some of the images I've seen, the videos of people celebrating, the far left radicals, the lunatics, celebrating the murder of another human being. Forget his politics, forget that he was credited with getting President Donald Trump elected, forget that he's a conservative. It doesn't matter. We're talking about a father, a husband, a friend, a son, and most importantly, the father of 2 young babies. As you've already mentioned, Nana, there's a massive, massive manhunt still underway here in the United States, in Utah. The gunman is still on the loose. Likely, he's a college-age shooter. According to the FBI, the picture you showed just then appears to suggest that the suspect they want was of college age, and the FBI is now offering a whopping $100,000 for any information. The rifle the person used was a bolt-action rifle, so suggesting it's a hunting rifle or even a sniper rifle, certainly with a scope, because the single rounds that killed Charlie, that ended his life, penetrated his neck. Whoever fired the gun slipped away amid the chaos. They ran through off a roof back into some woodland where FBI and police have been scouring. And most importantly, Nana, as you've already mentioned, they recovered ammunition which was scrawled with pro-trans ideology messaging and so-called anti-fascist messaging. And it's the same old story, isn't it, Nana and viewers? The so-called anti-fascists, if indeed this ammunition was from the person who killed Charlie Kirk, it's the anti-fascists who behave in a way that they protest so much against. They shut down free speech. They didn't want to debate Charlie Kirk with thoughts or ideas, as he came to fame with doing. They wanted to finish him with bullets. Kirk had received thousands of death threats before, according to Turning Point USA. They released a statement around an hour ago. They said everybody at the organisation is crushed and devastated. All of us have lost a leader, a mentor and a friend. Charlie was no stranger to threats. He received thousands throughout his life. And now Charlie has become America's greatest martyr to the freedom of speech he so adored. President Donald Trump has awarded Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom today. He announced that at a poignant 9/11 ceremony in Arlington here in DC. And it has to be said, Nana, that this is a dark, dark day for democracy. It's a dark day for freedom of speech. It's a terrible, horrific day for Charlie's family. But most importantly, it's a dark day for humanity. The reaction we've seen from some very disturbed people, twisted, warped in their mind to the murder of another human being, is sick.
Ben Leo, thank you very much. It's really good to talk to you. That's Ben Leo. He's out there in Washington, D.C. But let's get the thoughts of my panel. So joining me this evening, former Conservative MP Anna Firth, also Lord Sean Bailey, and also Sebastian Selig. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Nana.
Hi. So it's very sad, isn't it? what is wrong with people that when someone dies or is killed in this way, that you could actually celebrate it? I mean, what do you make of this, Anna?
Well, I think that is absolutely sick. And I was particularly pleased to see Blue Sky saying, you know, we don't want this on our platform. They all should be saying things like that. Yeah, OK, that's not free speech, but you're saying to people, come on, let's behave decently. I mean, I'm a mum. I've got three children, and when I saw that video with the little girl, it's been a bit running to Charlie. I mean, it made me feel really, really upset. I mean, it is a dark day for democracy. It also brought back for me what happened to Sir David Amess, who I took over from. It always seems to be the nicest people that get targeted, because from what I've read, Charlie Kirk was always polite, he always used facts, he always played the ball, not the person. He was the embodiment of decent, free speech. And I think it'd be lovely if this became, a moment for change, but because it really does need to change.
I mean, Sean, even if you didn't agree with what Charlie Kirk was saying, the fact that he was executed, because this was a targeted execution, this wasn't a random killing. The fact that he was executed, does that not kind of worry you? Because you're in a position where you're actually, expressing views, expressing your opinion. How does that make you feel?
Look, I think it's a problem in the Western world. I mean, when I ran for mayor, the level of death threats and stuff I received and racial abuse was incredible, to the point where the police got involved. And they gave me a panic alarm and all sorts of stuff, and had to patrol near my house and all kinds of madness there. But what's really important is these things build from a small start. And the reaction of the incoming president of the Oxford Union, if that's true, in my opinion, he shouldn't be allowed to be the chairman, because what goes on behind closed doors, that's one of the bastions of our civil society. And to believe that someone's going to lead that will then be leading other students into believing something like that is the right thing to do, shouldn't happen. And then it goes wider. Papers like The Guardian, and I say The Guardian because it's on the left, they should be investigating that so they can demonstrate to the public, yes, they're left-leaning, but they're decent as well. Because you can bet your bottom dollar if it's on the other foot, if it was a right-leaning student who said something, they'd be right in there asking the question. So do the same to everybody else. And it reminds me of how the Nazis grew. Because the left does group better, that's their thing, they do group, they convince themselves in their own bubble that they are correct, and they demonise on a very large level and then justify that. They should look at their young people, make sure, yes, have your opinion, but don't demonise and don't treat people this way. He has been murdered for his views. People on the left need to steward their own young people so they don't revel in this.
But to be fair, people on the right can behave equally as badly. I mean, it's just...
I only talk about people on the left because that's what we're talking about, because people on the right are equally as bad, let's be clear.
Now, Sebastian, you're more to the left.
Yeah.
You see this. What do you think about all of it? What are your views?
Well, let's be real here. A man has died. A family man has died. Whatever you think of his politics, now's not the time to raise that. Whether you are joking or celebrating, that all is completely disgusting. What we have here is an act of political violence. That should shake us all, even on this side of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
We've seen it at least twice in the last decade. MPs killed, tragic every time. I would hope that if there is one silver lining from all of this, it creates an honest conversation in America about gun violence.
Yeah.
It is a scourge in that country. There is a school shooting more than once a week so far this year, and that should scare all of us. And I would really hope, completely taking into account the views of Charlie Kirk as well, I know he wouldn't be a fan of this, but I hope that conversation is finally had in that country.
Well, we spoke to Suella Braverman earlier as well, and this is what she told us.
Charlie Kirk was simply freely expressing his political views, and for that he lost his life. What does that say about the state of American society, British society, Western society, when violence has come to dominate our political discourse? We can't go on like this, and I hope this is a moment for everybody to take stock and think about how how the society is moving.
I mean, that's Suella Braverman earlier. Now, she's right, isn't she? She's right. I mean, I've had death threats. I've had the same thing. I mean, I've had loads of them.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, as an elected politician, we now have to have a measure of protection around our surgeries, and we were given panic alarms. But what I think we have absolutely lost at the moment is the ability to say that just because I don't like what someone's saying, I may hate what they're saying, doesn't make them necessarily a bad person. It doesn't mean that I have the right to be angry with them, you know, and in this instance to take up arms. But we've lost the ability to debate
that's why
civilly.
Charlie Kirk was special, because he wasn't saying to people, you're bad because you don't have my views. He's saying, let's have a conversation. I believe what I believe, and I believe it a lot, but let's have that conversation.
That's right.
And he would have that debate. And I know I would openly tell you that people on the right have extreme views and do silly things, but I still think people on the left, the group nature of that activity leads itself more naturally to pile-ins. You only have to go on social media, say something. I mean, who invented cancelling people? It's always the idea that if you don't have our view, we will eradicate you. Where Charlie was important was, if you don't have my view, let's talk about that.
I agree with you, Sean, but I think social media does have a real part to play here. And you know, taking the politics out of it just for a minute, the problem is that if someone has got a view that actually isn't at all appropriate, and you go down the pub, someone will say, well, that's a bit off, you shouldn't be saying that. But if you do that in your room on social media, you will find 10 other crackpots that will actually affirm what you're thinking.
People are scared, though, as well, because if they don't agree with you, or they do agree with you, they don't want to say it because they're worried about what might happen. Well, listen, stay with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But it's time now for our latest Great British giveaway, and it's our biggest prize to date. It's worth over £100,000, an incredible four-berth motorhome worth 74 grand, plus 30 grand in tax-free cash. Here are the details.
This is your chance to win a motorhome and cash in our biggest giveaway to date. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be the proud owner of this 2025 Benamar Primero. It comfortably accommodates 4 people, comes with integrated bathroom and kitchen areas, has plenty of storage and can be driven on your standard driving licence. Plus, you'll also bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, taking the total prize value of this Great British giveaway over a whopping £104,000. Make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16, PO Box 8690, Derby, DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Blinds close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, good luck indeed. Still to come, a forum exposes a culture of boredom. Whilst HMRC has doubled the number of staff trained in tax evasion, why are they doubling teams when some are bored? But next.
Look, TfL have made clear, you know, that they can't afford, you know, their workers working few hours for more pay, but they are willing to talk to.
Yeah, that was the voice of Sadiq Khan. Tube drivers claim that the salary of £72,000 isn't enough to live on. It's not. Is it enough to live on? You at home, what do you think? This is Patrick Christys tonight, only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain you love, for the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain. Its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Oh, good evening. This is Patrick Christys tonight with me, Nana Akwe. Good evening if you just tuned in. Right, well, there's loads going on. Keep your thoughts coming. gbnews.com/you'll say. I will read some of those out. But HMRC, so that's HM, Revenues and Customs, they have doubled the number of staff. These staff would be trained in tax evasion, surveillance, costing the taxpayers thousands. So what that actually means is that the total number of employees in HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs Fraud Investigation Service, stands at 4,820 people. Now, I've called HMRC many times for certain things, and to be frank, some of them didn't really know what was going on. Now, this comes as it was revealed that a recent post on Reddit in a thread for those in or wanting to join the civil service that reads, "I do nothing, and it's breaking me," whilst explaining their role, although it can't be confirmed that if this is actually a real civil servant. This post, along with multiple others, gives an insight into a role where most are fighting boredom with barely any work to do on a day-to-day basis. Some even go as far as saying that they are shut down by management when they ask for more work. So why are they using our taxpayers' money to train new staff when half of the staff in the civil service are bored with nothing to do? Well, joining me now, former Downing Street Director of Communications, Jonathan Haslam. Jonathan, is there any truth to this? I mean, you'll know within the civil service whether it seemed a lot of people were just making it look like they were working when they actually had nothing to do.
Yeah, well, good evening, Nana. This is an interesting story, but ultimately unsatisfying in the sense that, as the paper itself admits, it's a number of posts on an open Reddit channel, so they can't be certain they are real civil servants, but we should just take as a hypothesis perhaps these are real civil servants, but we have no context within which to judge their statements. It's not that I'm casting doubt on it particularly, I just don't have the context to understand what it's about. But I think what we're really interested in as taxpayers is, should this be true, should it be correct, then we would rightly be concerned. And it would point to a number of things. It would point to, for example, leadership. Are the civil servants we're employing really directed properly? Are they taken on to tasks which are important? Do they have the resources to carry them out? So there's so much that we don't know. Having said that, it's a dispiriting read. I'd hope it's not something that's widespread, because the civil servants, it's a very, very broad church. It's a very, very broad number of people. So many areas in which they're involved, and we just need to have more detail. What you're looking for always within the civil service is direction. That's political direction. You're also looking from your senior civil servants project direction, because it's not all about just the Whitehall mandarins. It's about people who are working, for example, in the Office of National Statistics down in Newport. It's about people who are working up in Sheffield at the employment services. So it's very widespread. This points to a potential problem, and it may be widespread. I don't know. What I do know is that it's something that we need more context and more clarity on to make decisions.
But the civil service itself has literally doubled in size. I mean, since COVID, we've got such a massive civil service, and it feels as though when the new politicians come in, the same civil servants are often there, and if they don't like the politics of the new regime, that they can make things very difficult for the incoming government. Do you think that really we need to be doing something more Trumpian, where we actually clear out a lot of the top kind of mandarins and civil servants, so that the new government can try and get some of their policies through?
Well, I don't think the government has a problem with getting its policies through. It needs to get its policies sorted. It needs to get its policies sorted out in the first place. So there's a rather different matter. Civil servants can only do what their political masters tell them to do, and what's bound up within the party's manifesto when it got its election pledge from the electorate. So where we are is, I think what, Nana, we need to do is to differentiate what you're talking about here, I think, forgive me if I got this wrong, about the Whitehall mandarins, those people who are intimately involved at very senior levels within the civil service, and then those civil servants that the Telegraph is talking about, which I think is a much lower level of people who are involved in day-to-day activities that gets your pensions paid, that makes sure that your allowances are properly catered for, and a whole raft of other things, that your driving licence comes through when you require a renewal, and so many other aspects of government which are day-to-day, mundane in some respects. What did disappoint me, reading some of the comments, was the fact that people were working on outdated software systems, if we take it at face value. But we know also that, for example, fax machines are still being used in some parts of the National Health Service, which is, utterly ludicrous in today's environment. It's just not going to be conducive to anything that's good about delivering public services for taxpayers who are paying for it. They're frustrated. If we, again, take it at face value, we are frustrated. And we need to have directions, and we need to understand the changing world of work. AI is going to make things different. But I go back to one point I made first on. You need direction. As employees, you want to have direction. You want to know where you're going and how you get there. You want the resources to be able to do it. And then you want to be able to show your skills and talents in achieving that, in an environment where public service is important. And I've been a public servant for 20 years of my career. The other 25 has been in the private sector. So I sense that public service ethos. It takes particular people to do it. And I'm an optimist. I think that most people in the civil service actually want to work for the taxpayers and to do a good job. You've got to give them the tools to do it.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I think there's too much diversity training and all of that. Listen, thank you very much. Really good to talk to you. That is Jonathan Haslam. He is a former Downing Street Director of Communications. Really good to talk to you. Right. Well, a Cabinet spokesperson said Reddit is an open site and there is no way of confirming that these comments come from actual civil servants. We are supporting the civil service with the tools it needs to grow our economy and renew our country through our plan for change. We want a civil service that is empowered to deliver what the public needs and that is supported by driving a more efficient government, including cutting administrative budgets by 16% by 2030. And a Ministry of Housing, Communications and Local Government spokesperson said, you can tell this is done by civil servants, there's so much there. The approach to the office attendance is replicated across the civil service and has not changed since early 2024. Right, well, coming up, Labour's deputy leadership race has narrowed again.
A wider group of people is going to mean a new deputy leader. Would Dame Emily Thornberry fancy that as a job?
Go, Emily, go.
Well, no, look, Michael will run your campaign. I think that was an offer there. That would go very well with the Labour Party membership.
I'm thinking about it.
Well, she didn't go far. Dame Emily Thornberry pulled out after failing to gain enough support. We'll be discussing that shortly. But up next, tube drivers claim that a salary of £72,000 isn't enough to live on. Is it enough for anyone to live on? This is Patrick Christys tonight, only on GB News.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Northern parts of Europe will see any heavy downpours and thunderstorms easing away, though some light showers remaining in places. That's away from Spain and Portugal, though. High pressure dominating, so largely settled here. Plenty of sunshine, though we could see some occasional showers affecting Barcelona. Also some showers across northern parts of Italy, Switzerland and also Austria. But elsewhere across Italy, the Adriatic coastline and across Greece, plenty of sunshine to come. That theme continuing as we head into next week, and temperatures widely in the mid to high 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Evening. Tomorrow will be pretty similar to today. We're going to see heavy downpours, but 5 minutes later, the sun may well be out. A gusty wind blowing the heavy showers across the country. And like today, might even be a few thunderstorms around as well. Here's the reason why. Low pressure sitting just to the northwest. It's been a very wet and windy day in the far northwest. The winds ease a touch through the night, but the rain will persist over the Highlands and the Western Isles. Elsewhere, lots of showers zipping through at the moment, but they will tend to ease from many eastern areas. I think lengthy clear spells here. Showers never too far away from western coasts. Temperature-wise, well, dipping down into single figures for some spots. Fresh but bright start to Friday over the Midlands, much of eastern England and eastern Scotland. Generally a dry, fine start. Plenty of showers, though, in the west, and those showers will simply become more widespread as we go through the day. But as I said, generally a dry, fine start over East Anglia and the Midlands. The showers in West Wales, northwest England, likely to be heavy. Might even get a rumble of thunder again, and the showers moving through Northern Ireland. Again, no parts of the east starting dry, and that east-west split also in evidence across Scotland, with plenty of showers in the west. The wind's not as strong as today, but still a gusty, blusterous day. The showers will, as I say, become more widespread, certainly from late morning onwards. We'll see some over the Midlands and eastern England. Always, though, most frequent in the west, just zipping through on that brisk and gusty wind, making it feel cooler than the numbers would suggest. Temperatures actually close to average for the time of year, but certainly feeling fresher with the wind and when the showers come along. And there'll be more of them on Saturday too. Again, that mixture of bright spells and heavy showers. We may start with some across the southeast on Saturday morning, but again, most of the showers in the west developing more widely through the day. Again, the odd rumble of thunder. Again, temperatures close to average, and then things likely to turn wet and very windy by the time we get to Sunday. Goodbye.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight. I'm Nana Acquia. Now, tube drivers who earn a salary of £72,000, which actually puts them in approximately the top 10% of earners, they're saying that it's not enough to live on and they can't afford to buy a house in London. Now, drivers are on strike this week in protest over their pay and working hours, leaving London streets and train stations in chaos and some very unhappy people. Now, I did a bit of research. If we work on drivers, say, getting 4 or 4.5 times, 4 to 5 times their salary for a mortgage, then there are actually multiple houses and apartments in London boroughs that are affordable for tube drivers' salaries, costing between £288,000 to £300,000. And what about houses in surrounding areas like Shenfield and St Albans, which are commutable in London? They also have affordable houses for tube drivers' salaries. So do tube drivers have a point, or are they being plain greedy? Well, joining me now, trade unionist Rob Williams. Rob, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Now, look, Rob, as a single mum, I lived in and around London. I earned less than 72 grand, and I was able to live on that. So I don't get it. 72 grand can buy quite a bit. You can buy a house.
Supporting the RMT members are on strike this week, and as an industrial organiser for the Socialist Party, I'm proud to do that. Look, you know, there will be people watching this programme living in London that will know full well that they can't buy a house on those rates. And incidentally, the vast majority of those on strike this week aren't train drivers. They're far lower paid than that. Perhaps your viewers won't realise that senior management in TfL London Underground have had a 22% pay rise this year. There are 2,000 less workers on the network, even though passenger levels are now at pre-COVID levels. So this strike is partially about pay, but really it's probably mainly about having a decent work-life balance, having shifts that they can get on with. There's a huge amount of work being put on less workers, and really that's as much what this dispute is about as much as pay. And don't forget, you know, workers, including tube workers, over the last few years have had to deal with this massive cost of living increase. I'm sure you run programmes here, news items every night about the cost of living squeeze.
Yes, but
and tube workers, like everyone else, has had to face that.
Yeah, but so is everybody else. And obviously this will be counterproductive, because if you want more money, then everything's going to have to cost more. So it's not really going to assist the cost of living. And you guys are asking for a 32-hour week now. So that in itself is a pay rise. You rejected the offer that was given initially. And a lot of people will be watching this thinking, look, you know, if you work in a private company, you don't get the options to constantly have pay rises. And you guys, you know, those people who took the job knew what the salary was. So why now are they holding the city to ransom?
The people who are being held to ransom here is the tube workers, but many other workers around the country.
It's the commuters.
Yeah, let me just finish this point. Look, these were workers, like many other transport workers and NHS workers, etc., that were regarded as heroes during COVID. Passenger levels are back now to where they were before COVID. There's less of them doing more work, working unsociable hours, working longer shifts. These workers want a discussion with London Underground, with the mayor, the Labour mayor in London, who could get round the negotiating table tomorrow. I'm sure you've seen it yourself. The RMT union has said to the mayor, look, let's discuss this today. Let's get around the table and negotiate. The negotiations are just that. You discuss these issues out. Actually, I think many workers around the country who have been treated despicably by the employers, by the Tories, and now New Labour Mark II, will be saying, fair play to those RMT members, fair play to these workers.
Rob,
they're fighting for their interests.
I hear you, Rob. But do you know who's going to have to pay for the increase? It's not all these other people that you're talking about that you're not happy with. It's the customers, it's the consumers, it's us lot. And you're holding us to ransom, and I don't understand why you can't see that. You're saying that the tube workers have been held to ransom. No, they're not. You know, I don't, with no disrespect to the drivers, because I know they work really hard, as do everybody. But, I mean, I was reading one message from someone that's saying, well, they're just kind of pressing buttons and things. If you know how much you're being paid, all you're going to do is talk yourself out of work in the end. Would you guys be prepared to negotiate, say, you get less hours, but then it becomes automated? Parts of it become automated. That's what the outcome of this will be.
Well, I take it you go on this network every week in, week out. I think you realise the infrastructure is nowhere near enough, whether you want or not, to have that type of automation. These workers are dealing with a network system that's been underinvested in. Incidentally, this is a network system because of these workers is actually have actually had revenue of about £100 million extra a year. The money's there for these, to get a negotiated deal for these workers. So look, these are workers who make sure that London has a workforce every day of the week, perhaps including yourself, including myself, who go to work every day of the week. They should be rewarded.
But they are. Rob, listen, they knew how much they were going to get paid when they took the job. They are rewarded, and let's not forget the beautiful pensions they have that most of us would only dream of. Listen, Rob, I've got to leave it there.
Incidentally,
I could talk to you for ages, very quickly. But listen, Rob,
they've had to deal with the cost of living squeeze. Under the Tories, they went up to 14% inflation.
Listen, that might be the reason, but they still have it, and that is the point. So they've got good salary, good pension.
I'm glad
they have some great benefits that some of us would only dream of, Rob. They need to get into the real world. Rob Williams, I've got to go. Thank you very much. Really good to talk to you. Thank you for your company. That's trade unionist Rob Williams. Now, Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said, I'm urging the RMT and TfL to return to the negotiating table, and TfL have worked hard to deliver as much service as possible and keep London moving. Right, coming up, phase 2 of Sir Keir Starmer's government is well and truly underway, and as the US ambassador is sacked, but next. Labour's deputy leadership race has narrowed again with Dame Emily Thornberry. She's pulled out after failing to gain enough support. We'll discuss that next. This is Patrick Christys Tonight, only on GB News. Oh, and there's still time to get your ticket to join the Friday night audience.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christys Tonight show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christys Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good evening. Labour's turmoil continues. Dame Emily Thornberry is out of the race to become Labour's next deputy leader. The senior MP confirmed that she's withdrawn just after securing the backing of only 13 colleagues. She actually needed 80. Bridget Phillipson, the Education Secretary, is now the clear frontrunner with more than 100 supporters, followed by Lucy Powell and Bel Ribeiro Addy. Meanwhile, a man in his 20s has been arrested after suspected arson attack on Labour MP Sharon Hodgson's constituency office in Washington, Tyne and Wear, which was set ablaze alongside neighbouring offices, though no injuries were reported. Well, I'm joined now by former Labour advisor Paul Richards. Paul, Emily Thornberry, sadly she's out of the race, oh well. But the front runners, Bridget Phillipson, really?
There's a bit old news here. So we're down to 2 in the shortlist for the deputy leadership. So it's going to be Bridget Phillipson versus Lucy Powell, and I think then now that's the shortlist, and then it will go to the unions and the constituency parties to nominate, and then all the Labour Party members get a vote, and in 5 weeks it'll all be over. I think Bridget Phillipson is a strong candidate though. She's in the cabinet, she's well liked, she's got a good backstory, we all like a good backstory, and she's going to be somebody who will be a great deputy.
Well, it's not an episode of The X Factor. The backstory is relevant to me. It's just how good they do the job. Why is it? It feels like the Labour Party are obsessed with she has to be a woman, or there's this or that. What is it with them?
Well, it didn't have to be a woman.
Well,
it was
they were literally
only
saying it did, really.
But only women put themselves forward. But there's nothing in the rules that stopped a man, you know, from the south or from London or anywhere else as an MP putting themselves forward. But only women came forward. There was quite a good spread of different women from different parts of the country. But it's come down to the final 2 now. And like I say, it'll go to the members to vote. And it will dominate the Labour Party conference, of course, which is in Liverpool. So it'll be that period where everyone's gathering in Liverpool. And we'll get some, an announcement soon. I mean, I have to say, you know, we need to get on with it, really, because the country doesn't really care who the deputy leader of the Labour Party is. They're more concerned about potholes and shoplifting and police on the streets. But it's a job we need to do, so let's get on with it and get it done. And I think Bridget would be brilliant.
All right, listen, Paul Richards, sadly we didn't get time to talk about the other story, but that's OK, because I'm sure I'll get to speak to you another time. Paul Richards, really good to talk to you. He is a former Labour advisor. We'll stay with us, loads more still to come. Next, US Ambassador Peter Mandelson is sacked by Starmer over the emails to Epstein. Don't go anywhere, the weather is up next.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Evening. Tomorrow will be pretty similar to today. We're going to see heavy downpours, but 5 minutes later, the sun may well be out, a gusty wind blowing the heavy showers across the country, and like today, might even be a few thunderstorms around as well. Here's the reason why. Low pressure sitting just to the northwest. It's been a very wet and windy day in the far northwest. The winds will ease a touch through the night, but the rain will persist over the Highlands and the Western Isles. Elsewhere, lots of showers zipping through at the moment, but they will tend to ease from many eastern areas. I think lengthy clear spells here. Showers never too far away from western coasts. Temperature-wise, well, dipping down into single figures for some spots. Fresh but bright start to Friday over the Midlands, much of eastern England and eastern Scotland. Generally a dry, fine start. Plenty of showers, though, in the west, and those showers will simply become more widespread as we go through the day. But as I said, generally a dry, fine start over East Anglia and the Midlands. The showers in West Wales, northwest England, likely to be heavy. Might even get a rumble of thunder again, and the showers showers moving through Northern Ireland. Again, though, parts of the east starting dry, and that east-west split also in evidence across Scotland, with plenty of showers in the west. The wind's not as strong as today, but still a gusty, blusterous day. The showers will, as I say, become more widespread, certainly from late morning onwards. We'll see some over the Midlands and eastern England. Always, though, most frequent in the west, just zipping through on that brisk and gusty wind, making it feel cooler than the numbers would suggest. Temperatures actually close to average for the time of year, but certainly feeling fresher with the wind and when the showers come along, and there'll be more of them on Saturday too. Again, that mixture of bright spells and heavy showers. We may start with some across the southeast on Saturday morning, but again, most of the showers in the west developing more widely through the day. Again, the odd rumble of thunder. Again, temperatures close to average, and then things likely to turn wet and very windy by the time we get to Sunday. Goodbye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
This is your chance to win a motorhome and cash in our biggest giveaway to date. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be the proud owner of this 2025 Benamar Primero. It comfortably accommodates 4 people and can be driven on your standard driving licence. Plus, you'll also bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. Make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
It's 10 o'clock. I'm Nana Acquia. Tonight,
I want England to believe that again, because you guys brought Christianity to so much of the world. I want the Church of England to get its mojo back.
Charlie Kirk dies in a fatal shooting in Utah. A manhunt is still ongoing and a weapon has been found.
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
President Donald Trump has paid tribute to Charlie Kirk and will award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Also,
Starmer needs to shed a few pounds, and that would be an improvement.
US Ambassador Peter Mandelson is sacked by Sir Keir Starmer over emails to Epstein, and
I demand from world leaders, including the British government, to stand firm together and say to Hamas, we won't talk to any Palestinian, any one of you, until you release the hostages. They'll see that it may work better.
The President of Israel, Isaac Herzog, spoke to GBNews earlier today, calling for world leaders to stand against Hamas together.
Well, TfL have made clear, that they can't afford, their workers working few hours for more pay, but they are willing to talk to.
Tube drivers are striking this week, but now they've said £72,000 a year is not enough to buy a house. And...
What's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. And what do you do for a living?
Nothing, I'm lazy at the moment.
Reports that civil servants are bored, whilst the HMRC tax evasion team doubles in size. Also,
a wider group of people is going to mean a new deputy leader. Would Dame Emily Thornberry fancy that as a job?
Go, Emily, go.
Well, no, look, Michael will run your campaign. I think that was an offer there. That would go very well with the Labour Party membership. I'm thinking about it.
Well, she's gone. Labour remain in chaos. Emily Thornberry drops out of the Labour deputy leadership race as Labour MP's constituency office is set on fire. And... Illegal Channel migrants now exceed the entire British armed forces as Lord Hermer is ready to change law to stop ECHR blocking deportations. And we'll be bringing you the front pages shortly, and on The Independent, Keir Starmer in crisis as he's for Sebastian Salek. And Gary Lineker had fun last night.
Oi, oi, Gary Lineker!
How? Why? Thursday night starts here. My thoughts on Keir Starmer's Phase 2 Labour next.
Nana, thank you very much and good evening. The top stories this hour. The FBI has released images of a person of interest in the killing of Charlie Kirk. They also offer a $100,000 reward for any information. The killer is still at large and officials say the suspect appears to be of college age. 30-year-old conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot while giving a talk at Utah Valley University. Eyewitnesses say a figure on a rooftop fired a single round, hitting him in the neck. Kirk was rushed to hospital by his security team, but 2 hours later, the US president announced he'd died of his injuries. Elsewhere, Lord Mandelson has been sacked as Britain's ambassador to the United States after emails revealed the true depth of his relationship with paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson admitted further embarrassing emails were likely to emerge, including one in which he called Epstein his best pal. Sir Keir Starmer told MPs yesterday he still had confidence in Mandelson, but today in the Commons, his withdrawal was confirmed. Israel's president met the Prime Minister in Downing Street yesterday, a day after the deadly strike on Qatar's capital, Doha, which drew up a lot of criticism. There have been rumours of tensions between Sir Keir Starmer and the Israeli president during their meeting. Isaac Herzog sat down with GB News' Martin Daubney.
We reject the idea of a unilateral declaration of recognizing a Palestinian state because it's dangerous, it will flare up emotions, it won't bring out any hostage, and we won't help any Palestinian. On the contrary, I demand from world leaders, including the British government, to stand firm together and say to Hamas, we won't talk to any Palestinian, any one of you, until you release the hostages. They'll see that it may work better.
Elsewhere, former Commons leader Lucy Powell has secured enough MP nominations to go head-to-head with the Education Secretary in Labour's deputy leadership race. Backbencher Belle Ribeiro Addy was knocked out of the race after she failed to get the 80 nominations from Labour MPs required to advance to the next stage. Bridget Phillipson picked up 175 nominations, Ms Powell 117 and Ms Ribiera Addy 24, according to the final tally after today's 5 p.m. deadline. The three other MPs who'd initially thrown their hat into the ring to succeed Angela Rayner failed to reach that threshold of nominations and dropped out before they closed. And today marks the anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks that shocked the world. Vigils have been held across the globe to remember the victims and heroes from that fatal day. US President Donald Trump spoke earlier.
Together we will go forward as one people with one heart, one faith, one flag, and one glorious destiny under Almighty God. May God bless the memories of those who died and the heroes who fought and the soldiers who still stand watch. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Those are the latest headlines. For now, it's back to Nana.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, and on your smart speaker. Just say...
Remember this? Carol Vorderman and co.
Already started. I mean, everyone's looking very glum round these parts. Come on. In the Labour landslide, 14 years of corruption and lies and gaslighting. You've got two disgraced chancellors, Tory chancellors in the studio. You've got Nadine Dorries, you know, a woman who barely turned up for as her last year as an MP. And everybody out there is thinking, no more of this, no more of the lies, of the deceit.
Yet it took Labour only 14 months. Well, phase 2 of Sir Keir Starmer's government is well and truly underway.
So we go into phase 2, 1st of September 2025, in good spirits, confident and with conviction.
So what was left of the Prime Minister's confidence and conviction has already faded in the space of a week. After the resignation of Angela Rayner, who was caught dodging property tax, another disgraced Labour figure has left government today. This time it is Lord Mandelson, as new revelations about his cosy relationship with convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein meant that his role as US ambassador was completely untenable.
The Prime Minister has asked the Foreign Secretary to withdraw him as ambassador to the United States.
So what went wrong for New Labour's so-called Prince of Darkness? Well, he was a highly controversial choice in the first place. First of all, in 2019, he had publicly slagged off Donald Trump before issuing a grovelling apology earlier this year. A Trump campaign advisor branded him an absolute moron.
American president who is little short of a white nationalist and racist.
I consider my remarks about President Trump as ill-judged and wrong. I think that he has won fresh respect. He certainly has from me.
Oh, and it turns out he hadn't been particularly kind about the Prime Minister either.
Starmer needs to shed a few pounds, and that would be an improvement.
And he wasn't a stranger to scandal by any means, resigning from Cabinet in 1998 after accepting a personal loan from a Cabinet colleague, and then again in 2001 after a passport scandal involving an Indian billionaire.
I want to remove myself from the countless stories of controversy, of feuds, of divisions, and all the rest, all the other stories that have surrounded me. I want, in other words, to lead a more normal life.
Except his life was far from normal. It was his shadowy relationship with Jeffrey Epstein that quite rightly attracted the most scrutiny. Mandelson was often eager to shut down questioning, once telling a reporter that the story was just an obsession, as he told them to F off. But the new revelations began on Monday as details of a birthday book for the American financier were released. Mandelson's message from 2003 stretched across 10 pages, in which he called Epstein his best pal, who had mysteriously parachuted into his life. He also described one of Epstein's glorious homes that he likes to share with his friends, with the added line, "Yum, yum." He signed it off, "We love you." Lord Mandelson immediately said he regretted this relationship.
A tremendous sense, a profound sense of sympathy for those people, those women who suffered. I regret very, very deeply indeed carrying on that association with him for far longer than I should have done.
But on Tuesday evening, The Telegraph reported that he had worked with Epstein on a £1 billion business deal after he had been convicted for child sex offences. Despite this, yesterday, Sir Keir Starmer defended him on question after question after question.
The relationship between the US and the UK is one of our foremost relationships, and I have confidence in the ambassador in the role that he is doing.
It's embarrassing that the Prime Minister is still saying that he has confidence in a man who was brokering deals with convicted child sex offenders while sitting in government. That is...
And later in the afternoon, The Times reported that in 2002, Mandelson wrote a memo encouraging the Prime Minister, Tony Blair, to meet Epstein, given their business interests. And the final nail in the coffin, The Sun broke the story that whilst Epstein was facing charges over soliciting a minor in 2008, Lord Mandelson emailed him, "Your friends stay with you and love you." He urged Epstein to fight for an early release. He said, "Reminder, you are fighting back, so you need strategy, strategy, strategy. Remember the art of war." After his sacking, Number 10 refused to say when the Prime Minister was made aware of the new material, nor how much he knew before giving him the Washington job. And Sky News later reported that Britain's security services expressed concerns about Mandelson a whole year ago, but Downing Street have denied the claim. But all of this is beside the point. I think there is no way that he should ever have been appointed in the first place. And most importantly, in the space of 24 hours, Sir Keir Starmer defended, praised and then sacked Mandelson. What does that say about the conviction of our government? And as for Lord Mandelson himself, his political career seems to have ended how it begun, embroiled in a storm of sleaze. I'm now joined by American civil rights attorney Lisa Bloom. Lisa, welcome to the programme. Really good to talk to you. Now, I'm aware that you've actively been involved in legal matters related to Jeffrey Epstein, representing several of his survivors, and have expressed concerns, actually, about the lack of outreach to those victims by political figures and institutions. What does this say about, what impact do you think this will have on the US that Mandelson is no longer there?
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased that Lord Mandelson lost his job, and I'm also pleased that he made an apology to the victims. I have represented 11 Jeffrey Epstein victims for years, and frankly, this is the first time somebody in power has made an apology to them for being involved in covering up, being connected with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, what we know from these emails that were just released, which Lord Mandelson should have had all along because they came from him, is basically writing love letters to Jeffrey Epstein after the 2008 conviction, as you point out. "I think the world of you," he says. "I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened." What has happened is that he was being held accountable just a tiny, tiny bit, Epstein was, for sexually abusing underage girls. And Mandelson was clearly on Team Epstein. It doesn't appear that he gave a moment's thought to the girls who were abused. And I spoke to one of my clients, one of the Epstein victims, a couple of days ago, and she said, we hoped that people in power, especially public servants, would have our best interests at heart. We thought that their job was to protect and serve people like us, even though we weren't wealthy, we were just regular teenage girls. And now it appears that just the men in power wanted to stick together, and it was an old boys club.
Do you sort of look at this and think, what on earth is happening in our politics and our politicians?
Well, they did know, because the 2003 birthday book that you mentioned that's just been released is filled with pictures of Jeffrey Epstein giving balloons to little girls. In 1983, and then in 2003, they're giving him massages, right? And massages were the way that he got in to sexually abuse them. It's filled with high-powered men, sort of yuck, laughing about Jeffrey Epstein and the girls. So it seems to me that everything that my clients have been saying for years, that Jeffrey Epstein used his power and his connections. He talked about prominent men that he knew. That terrified and intimidated them and prevented many of them from coming forward. because they thought these men are all going to stand together against me. And, guess what? These emails from Lord Mandelson just go show that exactly. I mean, Mandelson saying to Epstein after Epstein is arrested, as you say, you're fighting back, remember the art of war. So does that mean that Epstein is supposed to go to war against the girls? I don't think there's any other interpretation.
Yeah, it's shocking. Lisa Bloom, thank you very much for joining me. She's an American civil rights attorney. Well, if you just tuned in, welcome aboard 16 minutes after 10 o'clock. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. Former Conservative MP Anna Firth, Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and also Labour councillor Sebastian Selleck. I've just split my dress running up here.
It looks very nice.
Sebastian Selleck, you
Yes.
saw the opening of that particular monologue. There you had Carol Vorderman saying, it's wonderful, everything's changed, the adults are now in the room, 14 years of sleaze. Well, it's been 14 months of sleaze from the Labour Party, pretty much.
Well, I've got to say, I'm pleased that Mandelson's gone. He's Starmer did the right thing to sack him. There was no place for him in this administration in any way after what came out. So I'm pleased to see that. Genuinely, the theme that I'm noticing, though, is when somebody is accused of wrongdoing or found to have done something wrong in a ministerial position, they tend to go pretty quickly. And that, I think, is the culture shift we're seeing here, compared to what we saw under previous Prime Ministers. He was on holiday while Afghanistan was falling. He didn't do anything about that. Boris Johnson really campaigned for those ministers to stick around. This is the night and day here. They're going quickly, which is the right thing to do.
I'm afraid that's not true. Let's be very clear. Keir Starmer is weak. And what he's done in all of these cases, so Rashna Ali, with Angela Rayner, and now with Mandelson, is try to get somebody else to make the decision to sack the person. He hasn't sacked them. He's let somebody. He's tried to, give that out to somebody else to do. And what that shows you is a Prime Minister who's weak, who has no conviction. In all of these cases, 2 days beforehand, I have full confidence in this person. 2 days later, this person has to go. At least from a judgment point of view, that says he isn't on top of the situation.
Well, of course, it's a binary, isn't it? Either you have full confidence in someone, or they should go. You can never have semi-confidence in someone.
It's the kiss of death.
Yes, that's the Keir Starmer playbook. I've got full confidence in you, unless that is the whole public and everybody else decides that I'm an absolute idiot, in which case I will change my mind and get rid of you. But best still, I will get the Ethics Commissioner to look at it. Correct. Because I can't quite make that decision myself, even though I'm a hotshot lawyer. I need someone else to help me. This Nana, is absolutely disgusting, and this is a Prime Minister with no moral compass, because we could see, the whole world could see on Monday that Mandelson was sucking up to this guy. And, that love letters was the right expression. It was disgusting the content of all those letters to Epstein. We could see it, the Prime Minister could see it, and yet he said he had full confidence in him.
Even when he was appointed, though, when he'd called President Trump a danger to the world and all this kind of stuff, he didn't seem like the right person for the job. I don't understand why Keir Starmer...
Exactly.
This is the problem. Keir Starmer doesn't have any authorities. He's trying to build friendships now. Apparently, he's appointed 53 PSs. That's so you can say to these people, I gave you a job, defend me. What you should do is take a leaf out of Tony Blair's book. Even David Cameron's book, they had authority in their parties. So people looked to them. They didn't need to be bribed.
But what he should do is have a bit of common sense. Lord Mandelson was dismissed by 2 previous Labour Prime Ministers for corruption. That's his problem. He loves a bit of money. He loves people who are in power. That's why he borrowed the 300,000 to buy a flat for himself. He then sucked up to the Hindujas and was helping them to get a passport or some other document. He is not a man of integrity. He should ever be representing our national interests. And it was obvious to everybody else. It's now finally obvious to the Prime Minister, but too late. His position is untenable, and Mandelson should not be a member of the House of Lords.
It also goes to a slightly deeper place about how he spoke about the people he's meant to be working with. I think that always put him on the back foot a little bit. If you're going to be in those high positions, you do need to temper your speech with a little bit of control.
And very briefly, Sebastian, is this Tulip Sadiq?
Tulip Sadiq, anti-corruption
They've all done bad things and they've paid the price, but find me any government that hasn't had resignations. It is just the normal course of being in government.
No, you've had 13 scandals or resignations already.
There's not been 13 resignations. What are you talking about?
Scandals, like Lord Ali, that was a scandal.
Yeah. OK,
like
we can argue over what's a scandal and what isn't.
Like a Labour MP smacking someone to the ground in his constituency. That was a scandal. You've had 8 resets. This is, what's going to be the...
resets. You're making up numbers out of what's going on.
No, you haven't.
You're pulling numbers out of the sky.
Milestones, missions, priorities.
A couple of weeks ago, his phase 2. We must be in phase 4 now, at least.
I love Keir Starmer's phases. I love his phases. It lets me know where we are.
All right, well, listen, in response to the release of the latest emails, Lord Mandelson told the BBC, I relied on assurances of his innocence that turned out later to be horrendously false. His lawyers claimed that it was a shakedown of him, a criminal conspiracy. I foolishly relied on their word, which I regret to this day. Also, apologies for the swearing, by the way. And the Prime Minister, as official spokesperson, said that he had no plans to speak to Lord Mandelson about the letter and declined to say whether Sir Keir Starmer knew about the extent of Lord Mandelson's friendship with Epstein or whether he knew about the photo album. Right, well, time for the Great British Giveaway. Your chance to win the biggest prize to date. It's worth over 100 grand. You get a 4-berth motorhome worth over £74,000 and 30 grand in tax-free cash. Here are the details.
This is your chance to win a motorhome and cash in our biggest giveaway to date. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be the proud owner of this 2025 Benamar Primero. It comfortably accommodates 4 people, comes with integrated bathroom and kitchen areas, has plenty of storage and can be driven on your standard driving licence. Plus, you'll also bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, taking the total prize value of this Great British Giveaway over a whopping £104,000. Make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Blinds close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. Coming up tomorrow's front pages, we'll bring you those shortly. Plus, illegal child migrants have exceeded the entire British Armed Forces.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
She's got it all wrapped up, hasn't she?
Yeah, £2,000 worth of gifts all set to go under the tree. I admire people who go out to the Christmas Eve and buy all their presents.
Oh, so it's hellish. It's hellish.
Have you done that?
I have done it once or twice, yeah.
Oh, dear.
So you have to buy for so many people, the dog, the cat, your partner. I mean, honestly.
It's never ending.
Never ending.
I've tried stockpiling before, and then when it comes to Christmas Eve, I'd get everything out thinking I've got loads and loads and loads. And I feel like I haven't got enough, and then I end up panic buying.
I like the whole festive period. It's my birthday 2 weeks before Christmas, so I like doing the shopping when the trees are up and the lights are out, and it's like, you know, proper Christmas vibe to it. It just feels wrong doing it so far in advance.
So you're Sagittarius?
Yeah.
What day do you? I'm the 16th.
I'm just before you. I'm the 11th.
Oh.
That's
my granny's birthday.
I know.
Nice date.
Yeah.
Do you like to shop physically in person in the shops, or do you do it online?
Normally, all year round, I absolutely loathe shopping, absolutely loathe it with a passion. But I do like Christmas shopping. I like buying stuff for other people.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you? And toys for your husband.
And toys for my husband. Yeah, we were talking about Christmas toys as well, weren't we, earlier on?
Yeah.
And the thing I was saying to Biggins is about sort of like buying toys for grown men.
Yes.
But my husband is at that age now where he's reliving his past, and I want to buy him the little toys he couldn't afford when he was a kid.
So what sort of toys are we talking?
Little cars he couldn't... Not that, no. Not going back to that conversation.
What, like electrics?
The little cars he couldn't afford when he was a little boy. There were little Tonka toys, and
Yeah,
he couldn't
hot
afford
rods.
them when he was a kid. He had second.
Is it Hot Wheels?
Yeah.
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Hot rods.
Hot rods.
Hot rods.
Hot Wheels.
Carry on up GB News breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
Hot rods are the big racing cars, aren't they? Yeah.
Very big.
Hot Wheels.
GB News, the People's Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight. I'm Nana Acquare. All of tomorrow's front pages coming up shortly. But first, a shocking GB News exclusive tonight. The total number of migrants who have crossed the Channel since December 2018 has surpassed the total number of active British military personnel and reservists. New research has revealed. Analysis of the data also reveals that almost 90% of people crossing in small boats are male, and 67% are aged between 18 and 39, so-called military-aged men. Meanwhile, this evening, Attorney General Lord Hermer has said that he will leave no stone unturned, as he is apparently ready to change the law to stop the ECHR blocking deportations. Well, joining me now is the chair of Migration Watch, Alp Mehmet. Alp, thank you so much for joining me. As I understand it, your organisation did this particular study. Talk to me about what you found. How many Channel migrants have you found since 2018?
I did many years ago, I have to say, when I was working as an immigration officer. But that aside, look, 181,000, it's taken 8 years to get to this point. If we continue at the present rate, we're going to have 400,000 in the same time over the next 8 years. And that's only those that we know about. As you point out, 90% are male, over 65%, 67% are 18 to 39, and all of them, well, vast majority anyway, were bringing their families over. This is a huge number. And there's nothing really that the government has said that is going to do anything about that. It's not going to deter anyone. And if anything, because of the weakness of the proposals that they come up with, it encourages more to come.
I mean, I think the latest one, I remember Yvette Cooper saying that if the dinghy had 80 or more people, more than 80 people in, then the smugglers will be prosecuted for allowing more than 80 people to cross via the dinghy, which kind of legitimises 80 people in a dinghy, do you know what I mean? Or silly things like the one in, one out. I mean, what are your thoughts on one in, one out? Because that was sort of touted as a good scheme.
It's laughable because it's never going to work. We've given the French 100 million quid to get the scheme into place, and nothing's happened. Look, until we pull out of the ECHR, until we repeal the Human Rights Act, there's very little that's going to happen. Very easy to withdraw from the ECHR. Just give 6 months' notice and we're out. Legislation to repeal the Human Rights Act, again, perfectly standard stuff, and we will deal with all the connecting legislation and laws that are impacted. Straightforward. However, if you listen carefully to Lord Hermer, he said yesterday there is no question. And the Prime Minister has made crystal clear, he said, that we will not leave the ECHR. So what is it that we can expect other than the numbers to continue coming in at the sort of levels that we have?
Well, part of it is our own fault in the way that we interpret bits of the ECHR, because other countries who are within it appear to be able to interpret it in a way that doesn't enable the kind of, the kind of migration that we've seen and the kind of, well, frankly, I don't want to use the word, but, taking that is happening at the moment.
Taking the mickey.
Yeah. Why could we not keep it but interpret it in the way that many of the others are interpreting it, which means that they don't put up with all of this nonsense?
But, well, the whole point, though, Nana, is that so long as there's a channel, there is a process which leads to the European Court of Human Rights, then inevitably people are going to take it. And until we deny that opportunity by pulling out of the ECHR, I'm afraid it's going to continue. Yeah, the new Home Secretary has said that the rules and the guidance and everything is going to be tightened. This is all nonsense. It's all jammed tomorrow anyway. How long is it going to take before any of this is in place? It's jammed tomorrow, and jam that will never arrive, I'm afraid.
Do you feel like they just keep kicking the can a bit further down until, in 2029 we'll have all migrant hotels, use of hotels, and in 2020 and 2030 this, and it's like, we haven't got that kind of time, because if you work out the numbers that will continue to come, then we'll be in real trouble.
Well, no, there's no... All right, so we take them out of hotels so that the government can say, look, we're saving money. But they're not. We've still got the inflow, and we've still got to find homes for those people, because that's what our law says at the moment. The Human Rights Act says that if refugees, migrants are destitute, then we're obliged legally to house them. And that's the position we are in.
Oh, God.
I'm afraid that the government is not serious. That's the way I interpret it.
It's so disappointing, isn't it, really? Alf Mehmet, thank you very much. Really good to talk to you. He's the chair of Migration Watch. Really makes no sense at all, does it? Really, it's totally unsustainable. Shabana Mahmood, Home Secretary, said these small boats crossings are utterly unacceptable, and the vile people smugglers behind them are wreaking havoc on our borders. Thanks to our deal with France, people crossing in small boats can now be detained and removed to France, and I expect the first returns to take place imminently. I think it's about 100 people. Protecting the UK border is my priority as Home Secretary, and I will explore all options to restore order to our immigration system. Right, coming up, Gary had fun last night. He won Best Presenter at the NTAs this year.
Oi, oi, Gary Lineker!
I don't understand. But next, it's time for the front pages and the Daily Star. Lineker, I'm never going back to the BBC. This is Patrick Christys tonight, only on GB News.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Northern parts of Europe will see any heavy downpours and thunderstorms easing away, though some light showers remaining in places. That's away from Spain and Portugal, though. High pressure dominating, so largely settled here. Plenty of sunshine, though and also Austria. But elsewhere across Italy, the Adriatic coastline and across Greece, plenty of sunshine to come. That theme continuing as we head into next week, and temperatures widely in the mid to high 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Evening. Tomorrow will be pretty similar to today. We're going to see heavy downpours, but 5 minutes later, the sun may well be out. A gusty wind blowing the heavy showers across the country, and like today, might even be a few thunderstorms around as well. Here's the reason why. Low pressure sitting just to the northwest. It's been a very wet and windy day in the far northwest. The winds ease a touch through the night, but the rain will persist over the Highlands and the Western Isles. Elsewhere, lots of showers zipping through at the moment, but they will tend to ease from many eastern areas. I think lengthy clear spells here. Showers never too far away from western coasts. Temperature-wise, well, dipping down into single figures for some spots. Fresh but bright start to Friday over the Midlands, much of eastern England and eastern Scotland. Generally a dry, fine start. Plenty of showers, though, in the west, and those showers will simply become more widespread as we go through the day. But as I said, generally a dry, fine start over East Anglia and the Midlands. The showers in West Wales, northwest England, likely to be heavy. Might even get a rumble of thunder again, and the showers moving through Northern Ireland. Again, there are parts of the east starting dry, and that east-west split also in evidence across Scotland, with plenty of showers in the west. The wind's not as strong as today, but still a gusty, blusterous day. The showers will, as I say, become more widespread, certainly from late morning onwards. We'll see some over the Midlands and eastern England. Always, though, most frequent in the west, just zipping through on that brisk and gusty wind, making it feel cooler than the numbers would suggest. Temperatures actually close to average for the time of year, but certainly feeling fresher with the wind. And when they start with some across the southeast on Saturday morning, but again, most of the showers in the west developing more widely through the day. Again, the odd rumble of thunder. Again, temperatures close to average, and then things likely to turn wet and very windy by the time we get to Sunday. Goodbye.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
This is Patrick Christys Tonight, only on GB News. I'm Nana Acquare. And time to run through the papers, front covers. On the front cover of the Metro, Mandy, it all ends in tears. Of course, that is Peter Mandelson in tears, sorry. Peter Mandelson, yes, of course, he's gone. But is Keir Starmer next? The Independent, Starmer in crisis as he's forced to sack yet another key ally. Of course, I think that's ally number 5, 6. Where are we on this? The Telegraph, Starmer faces MPs, Mandelson scandal. Front cover of The Sun, face of evil. So that is appeared to be the first picture that I've seen, actually, of who they think is the sniper. Daily Express, weak Starmer under fire for Mandelson fiasco. So those are the front pages for tomorrow's news. Joining me, former Conservative MP Anna Firth, Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and also Labour councillor Sebastian Salek. Right, so let's take a look at the Metro. Starting with the Metro. Now, this is Mandy, it all ends in Keir's. Nice little strap line and heading.
I think that's a brilliant strap line. I haven't seen such a good strap line on the front page of the Metro.
It's the kind of thing the Sun often come up with.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing, I know we're looking at the Metro, but I just can't ignore the Mail. I mean, I think this is the absolutely key thing. Starmer ignored string of warnings. If it does come out that Number 10 were actually warned about Mandelson and concerns, and they were ignored, that's curtains. Yeah. Completely curtains for Starmer.
Every day someone will tell you why it's curtains for Starmer. He's done this, he's done that. And you know, someone involved in politics, you sort of nod and say no. But I've got to say, this story could rumble on, and if there were warnings and he didn't take them, he could be in trouble here. And I think the only reason he survived this long is because there's no natural successor, but this might force the Labour Party to take some action.
Number 10, though, saying that they weren't warned of anything. Yeah, so let's hope that that's the case, and we can move on.
Also, there's a story. I mean, it's Guido Fawkes, but there's a story on Guido today that actually Number 10 have briefed Guido that they were warned, and it was madness to appoint Mandelson. So if that's true that someone from Number 10 is now briefing against Starmer, that is the sign of a government that's finished.
Yeah, we don't want that. It's completely unhelpful. It's not good team play, is it?
I don't know party anymore. This is about a deeper, more meaningful people, important thing for the country. We shouldn't be appointing people who are going to cause us trouble, embarrass us, blah, 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 blah. And Keir Starmer was leading that process. In a way, I hope that they didn't know. I hope that something doesn't come out. But if it did, then, you know, it could be curtains.
Well, I think he's really treading on very thin ice. But let's look at the front cover of the Mail as well, because the left tried to silence my friend Charlie Kirk with wild slanders. Did they create an atmosphere where someone thought it legitimate to stop him talking for good? That's actually a piece by Nigel Farage in the Mail as he talks about what happened with Charlie Kirk, which is very tragic. I mean, Ben Leo did a lovely interview with Charlie a couple of months previous, and Charlie was concerned about the state of British politics and, of course, the freedom of speech here, but, of course, in America...
He's right, but we do have it. You and I have both suffered from this. People organising pile-ins. Well, what is a natural, you know, culmination, end point of that? People get angry. People feel like they have to actually take a physical action. And I think people who do such things actually need to take a good look at themselves, left or right, about what they are instigating in our society.
That's where the breakdown comes, because we should be able to discuss things without feeling the need to take physical actions. That's where
I couldn't agree more. But
people are overstepping the mark.
People are deliberately inciting anger in large groups of people, and if you do that, this could well be the end point, because you don't know the mental state of the 2, 3, 4, 500,000 people you're deliberately trying to anger, and this is what happens.
Do you know what? I'm quite annoyed to read this from Farage, insinuating that the left, whoever that may be, created an atmosphere, or asking whether they created an atmosphere where this could happen. I think at a time like this, we shouldn't be playing politics like that. We shouldn't be thinking left-right. We should be thinking about political violence and how evil it is.
I totally
and drawing
agree.
the line there.
It's on both sides.
The only thing I'll say, people on the left, and sometimes the right, but mainly the left, will always make...
Careful now.
Will always make these points when they're... Well, I almost use a poor pun there. When they're under scrutiny, you know, it's very great if you're on the left to say we shouldn't be looking at it as a political point of view, but let's be clear, this was an act of political violence, so you have to discuss it through the lens of politics.
It's a time and a place. That's what I think Farage often, he's always so quick to get in there with a negative slant and a negative story.
Agree.
OK.
He's very downbeat as a man, isn't he?
Yes.
It's a shame.
You're correct about it. Look, he's made his whole political career on sort of anger and sort of outrage and any opportunity to take that. But that's where his challenge lays, because the next thing he'll have to give us is more substance.
Well, briefly on the front cover of The Sun, then, they've got the first picture of who they believe is the Charlie Kirk killer. And the ammo carried, the ammo had this pro-trans messaging, if that is the right... if they found the right gun and everything else like that. I mean, this is very tragic, isn't it? But I'm glad that they've got a face for this person or an idea of who he is, which is... at least a chance they might be able to catch him.
Yeah, well, let's hope that...
they do catch him.
they catch him and that he sees justice.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to happen here. Well, it's a shame, though, that, as The Sun is reporting, the ammo carried a pro-trans message. I just hope that this doesn't fall on the trans community and they don't suffer as a result.
All right. All right. Well, listen, as we are all aware, tube services are suspended. So some people are taking buses to get to work, others are cycling, but others are taking some more extreme measures. Take a look. There's people travelling to work on horseback.
I wish I had a horse to ride to work.
I've learned to ride the line bikes this week, Nana.
Really?
Do you do that?
I don't do any such a thing.
Oh, do it. I promise you, you'll love it.
Brilliant.
I've been walking a lot. That's
I don't do
my
line
response.
bikes, God, no.
Yeah, I've walked a lot.
I do wonder why we're doing it with no helmets on. I mean, it's a lovely feeling of liberty, but you know, we have sort of seen what can happen, and I always got my children to put on helmets when they went out cycling, and now we're all cycling around London.
It's not ideal, is it?
I don't do cycling in cities. It just doesn't feel right. Don't think it's safe. But coming up, more front pages, and in the Times, Madison, I was clear about links to Epstein. Oh, and there's still plenty of time to be part of the audience on Friday.
That's really
exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christys Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christys Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Patrick Christys Tonight, weekdays from 9 p.m.
What on earth is going on at our university? So Professor Stephen Greer had worked for the University of Bristol for 36 years when his career was halted after a false accusation of Islamophobia. The issue arose when Greer taught about the Charlie Hebdo attacks during a human rights module, and a student who didn't actually attend the course complained. Well, I'm delighted now to be joined by Stephen Greer himself to explain what happened. Stephen, thank you very much. Tremendous to have you on the show. Can you just explain the circumstances that led up to you being accused of Islamophobia, please?
Well, out of the blue, or almost out of the blue, I received a complaint about a module I'd been teaching on a unit nearly 15 years without incident, which included the increasing critical literature about human rights issues in Islam, China, and the Far East. And my principally, as I said, the principal complaint, it did include a complaint about Charlie Hebdo, but the principal complaint was about the fact that I had referred students to the authoritative academic literature. And the student who complained was the president of BRISOC, the University of Bristol Islamic Society, who was a medical student who'd not attended any of the course himself, and he claimed to be acting on behalf of anonymous students. And there were all kinds of other procedural irregularities in the complaint, but the university decided to entertain it anyway. Okay. And I was exonerated after a 5-month inquiry. Then the university said, well, they were publicly announced, they took the module off the syllabus.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Patrick Christys Tonight on GB News. I'm Nana Aquia. Let's take a look at tomorrow's front pages. The Daily Mail leads with Starmer ignored string of warnings. Then in The Guardian, the Prime Minister faces questions over judgment as he is forced to sack Mandelson. The Eye leads with Mandelson exit leaves weakened Starmer facing wrath of Labour. Daily Star and, of course, Gary Lineker. Oh, God, goodness me. I'm never going back to the BBC, he says. I don't think it's his choice. The Times leads with Mandelson. I was clear about links to Epstein. The Mirror, home is in disgrace. And joining me, former Conservative MP Anna Firth, Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and Labour councillor Sebastian Thelick. Right, let's see. Daily Mail. So we did a bit of the Mail earlier.
We did.
But
what we didn't cover, Nana, is the fact there was an urgent question in the Commons today, and it transpires that Mandelson hasn't actually been sacked in the way we would understand it, that, lost his job, not being paid anymore. He's just been withdrawn as ambassador. So we as taxpayers at the moment are still paying for him. I mean, that's another disgrace.
So he's still getting paid.
He's still getting paid by us.
Getting paid
for being a national disgrace.
You should just cut off the wages, that's the end of that.
And take away his peerage. Haven't we had enough of him embarrassing our country?
Yeah, one peer to another. Should he have his peerage removed?
I actually don't think so. What would it solve? No, look, Mandelson has disgraced himself. He's lost his job, or at least he's lost the position, not the salary. But I'm always one that's saying, look, we constantly try to destroy people and cancel them. The man's lost his job. Isn't that enough?
It's his own fault, though.
I'm not making any sympathy for him. Right? I'm just saying he's lost his job.
What does a man add to the House of Lords who has now been sacked by 3 different prime ministers in 3 days? decades. What do we? Why do we?
But remember, this is what reminds me of what happened to Angela Rayner. People pontificating.
Well, she shouldn't be in the Lords. You're not arguing that she should be in the Lords, are you?
Send her up. She died. Her political career died because she was so vicious about everybody else. Yeah?
Absolutely.
I just warn you to be careful about what you wish for, because your day could be coming.
You're thinking about yourself anyway, just in case.
Not me. Nobody's interested in me anymore.
I want to show you this. I wanted to see Gary Lineker because, of course, he's the former host of Match of the Day. Gary Lineker has won the TV Presenter Award at the National Television Awards. I was there. Have a listen to this controversial speech.
Oi, oi, Gary Lineker!
I think it demonstrates that perhaps it's OK sometimes for us to use our platform to speak up on behalf of those who have no voice.
Come on. Listen, he was fired for retweeting some anti-Semitic thing that he didn't realise was anti-Semitic. And I'm a bit annoyed with him saying that we use our platform. When you're on the BBC,
it's not
we're paying for the
our platform.
And when you're on the BBC, the deal is you don't go ranting about that sort of stuff.
The people in that room clapping, I wonder if they would have clapped if Farage had said something on the BBC. See, and that's the point. God, no. You have to act with balance. So if Farage can't do something on there, neither can Lineker.
What about Ryland? He spoke out the other day. It wasn't on the BBC, but he has a Radio 2 show.
Yeah,
should he not be allowed to do that?
No, he should not be. He should not be.
I would agree with you.
But the difference is, Ryland didn't do it on his BBC show.
But
that's very important.
Lineker wasn't doing it on Match of the Day. He was doing it on Twitter.
If it's a commercial show, or if you're using your own social media platform, that's fine. But what annoys me is this Lineker. I'm never going back to the BBC. Who actually cares?
But he wasn't. He's not
popular. People like him.
No,
the BBC.
No one cares.
He's very popular, but he's not so popular that the BBC need him. They don't need him.
Nobody wants him back on the BBC.
No.
We don't want to pay for his views.
No.
That's the point. The BBC's meant to not... It's meant to be neutral.
Yeah.
So
or it's meant to be balanced.
Or at least balanced.
It should be neutral. I'll tell you why. The day the public are asked, do you want to continue paying for the BBC, they could be in trouble. Because the very people who would pay for the BBC are the people who believe the BBC has been attacking them. They will be in trouble. And it'd be the likes of Gary Lineker who will have made the BBC, for many people, irrelevant. And the BBC shouldn't want that for itself.
But how can you be talking like that when the reason he left the BBC was because of something that he retweeted, which was deemed as anti-Semitic, something that he didn't realise, and then apparently that's what he says, and he apologised, but then to get out of there all brash and talk as though he's... It's just like, hold on a minute, dude, you got sacked for something that was quite terrible.
You made a mistake. Perhaps don't go there, would be the normal reaction.
But he didn't do one thing. He had multiple goings on, and him apologising...
Yeah, well, listen, stay with us. There's a whole load more news. I'll be sharing it with you in just a moment. Before that, let's find out what the weather's got in store for you tomorrow. Stay tuned. This is GB News. We are Britain's #1 news channel. I know, it's great.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Evening. Tomorrow will be pretty similar to today. We're going to see heavy downpours, but 5 minutes later, the sun may well be out. A gusty wind blowing the heavy showers across the country. And like today, might even be a few thunderstorms around as well. Here's the reason why. Low pressure sitting just to the northwest. It's been a very wet and windy day in the far northwest. The winds ease a touch through the night, but the rain will persist over the Highlands and the Western Isles. Elsewhere, lots of showers zipping through at the moment, but they will tend to ease from many eastern areas. I think lengthy clear spells here. Showers never too far away from western coasts. Temperature-wise, well, dipping down into single figures for some spots. Fresh but bright start to Friday over the Midlands, much of eastern England and eastern Scotland. Generally a dry, fine start. Plenty of showers, though, in the west, and those showers will simply become more widespread as we go through the day. But as I said, generally a dry, fine start over East Anglia and the Midlands. The showers in West Wales, northwest England, likely to be heavy. Might even get a rumble of thunder again. And the showers moving through Northern Ireland. Again, no parts of the east starting dry, and that east-west split also in evidence across Scotland, with plenty of showers in the west. The wind's not as strong as today, but still gusty blusterous day. The showers will, as I say, become more widespread, certainly from late morning onwards. We'll see some over the Midlands and eastern England. Always, though, most frequent in the west, just zipping through on that brisk and gusty wind, making it feel cooler than the numbers would suggest. Temperatures actually close to average for the time of year, but certainly feeling fresher with the wind and when the showers come along. And there'll be more of them on Saturday too. Again, that mixture of bright spells and heavy showers. We may start with some across the southeast on Saturday morning, but again, most of the showers in the west developing more widely through the day. Again, the odd rumble of thunder. Again, temperatures close to average. And then things likely to turn wet and very windy by the time we get to Sunday. Goodbye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Welcome back. Loads more to come on Late Edition. We'll be talking about Peter Mandelson. Of course, he's out, but who's going to take his place? And why on earth didn't Keir Starmer realise that this person really wasn't the right person for the job in the first place? We'll also be looking at more on the Charlie Kirk and the developments that have happened. They feel they have identified now who the gunman is, and now they are trying to find him. But we'll keep you updated on that. And Gary Lineker, oh, for goodness sake, he said that he'll never go back to the BBC. They don't want you. You were fired. That's coming up in Late Edition.